What's up, everyone? I'm just kidding. Jonathan here with Techno Buffalo. You guys can call me John M, Johnny Morrison, or even John for Bulls because I am not a Lakers fan. First off, just want to say thank you guys for the extremely warm welcome last week. Just reading through the comments, it's super humbling, and I just want to let you guys know I do appreciate that, and you guys are awesome. Now, real quick, just want to address a quick question because I saw it asked like 73 times, give or take, but nothing is happening to TLD today. That is my baby. I will still be there uploading videos every week like crazy. I'm just going to be here once a week on Techno Buffalo, bringing you guys some awesome tech content. So with all that said, the whole reason we are here is to take two of the top dog smartphones on the market, the iPhone 5 and the Galaxy S3, smash them head to head, and hopefully help you guys decide which is the better purchase for you. Let's go. So the way it's going down, I'm breaking this down into 6 categories: design and build quality, storage and expandability, internals and performance, OS and software, displays, battery life, and then ultimately come to a conclusion of what is the better phone for you to buy. Kicking off design and build quality, the iPhone 5, which features a longer 4-inch Retina display, sizes in at 4.87 inches tall by 2.31 inches wide by 0.3 inches thick and weighs an ultralight 3.95 ounces. It features a beautiful two-tone glass and aluminum design with insane attention to detail. The Galaxy S3, on the other hand, is rocking a massive 4.8-inch HD Super AMOLED Corning Gorilla Glass display, sizes in at 5.38 inches tall by 2.78 inches wide by 0.34 inches thick and weighs a slightly heavier 4.73 ounces. The Galaxy S3, while it definitely doesn't feel cheap by any means, uses a plastic build and removable back, so it leaves a little something to be desired. Whether you love Apple or you hate Apple, you can't argue with the build quality, and which is why this round goes to the iPhone 5. Next up is storage and expandability. This is something that I feel often gets overlooked, but to me is very important. The iPhone 5 is available in 16, 32, and 64 gigabyte capacities, and the Galaxy S3 comes in 16 and 32 gigabyte options with a 64 gigabyte model hitting the market later this month. The Galaxy S3, on the other hand, features a very handy micro SD card slot, which gives you up to an extra 64 gigabytes of expandable storage. So let's say you're comparing both 16 gigabyte models between the iPhone 5 and the Galaxy S3. On the iPhone 5, if you want to bump up an extra 32 gigs of storage, you have to move up 2 models, and that's going to cost you an extra $200. On the Galaxy S3, you could easily pick up a 32 gigabyte micro SD card for around $30 or even up to 64 gigs for around $60. So in this category, the iPhone doesn't even come close, and the Galaxy S3 takes this round. So after 2 rounds, we are tied 1-1, and we are moving on to internals and performance. The iPhone 5 is rocking a dual-core 1.3 GHz A6 processor, and the Galaxy S3 boasts a dual-core 1.5 GHz Qualcomm Snapdragon S3 processor. Upon benchmarking these two, even though the iPhone 5 is a little slower clocked than the Galaxy S3, you can see it outperforms it in Geekbench. Now real quick, I'm going to stop you right there because I'm sure some of you guys are screaming out of your seats yelling, "Jonathan, what the hell? There's a quad-core Galaxy S3. Yes, Timmy, I know that, but to get these as even as possible, I had to compare the LTE model with the LTE model because the quad-core version does not have that. Now for kicks, here is the benchmarks. Again, you can see the quad-core S3 does outperform those two, but for being a quad-core processor, it doesn't do it by much. So let's go to continue on with the dual-core to dual-core comparison. Now, as far as the GPU, which is going to equate to gaming performance as well as hardware acceleration, in GL Benchmark 2.1, the iPhone 5 beat out the Galaxy S3 by 10 frames per second. As far as Wi-Fi goes, the iPhone 5 was consistently pulling about 5 to 10 megabits per second faster download speeds, and that was after running that test over and over and over again. Now, as far as LTE, both phones performed around the same. I got about 10 to 11 megabits per second down, and around 3 to 4 megabits per second up on both phones. Now that of course is going to vary on your location because I have seen LTE speeds go as high as 30 to 50 megabits per second, which is absolutely insane. So after taking all those benchmarks together, as far as sheer performance goes, the iPhone 5 takes this round, but I can assure you both are very snappy and extremely powerful devices. Next round up is OS and software, which to me is actually almost more important than hardware. The iPhone 5 is running iOS 6, which is a great, simple, easy to use interface. It's fast, it's fluid, insanely responsive, but it really hasn't evolved over the last few years, and if you've used iOS for a while, you'll definitely agree it's become really stale. It's pretty clear that Apple is a believer of the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, but Android is advancing at a lightning fast pace, and the Galaxy S3 is a prime example of that. As of this video, my Galaxy S3 is running Android 4.0.4 Ice Cream Sandwich with Samsung's TouchWiz piled on top. Now to me, nothing beats pure, stock, unadulterated Android, but TouchWiz isn't horrible and adds some neat features like Palm Swipe to Capture, which allows you to capture a screenshot just by swiping your hand across the screen. I also really enjoyed Turn Over to Mute, which allows you to mute an incoming phone call just by turning the S3 face down. So if someone calls, you don't want to talk to them, just grab your phone. I don't want to talk to your face. Slam it down, and boom. Both OSs definitely have their faults, maps, voice, and both have their advantages. For the iPhone 5, I absolutely love iOS email. Nothing comes close to it. There's also subtle features like being able to change songs on the lock screen and the simplicity of tapping to go to the top of a page in the web browser. On the Galaxy S3, I love that I can quickly access Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and a ton more features that I would normally have to dig through menus to access on the iPhone 5. The customization and freedom to organize my home screen however I want is extremely refreshing. I can add widgets, live wallpapers, and if I just want a simplistic, minimalistic setup, I'm not boxed into that like iOS. I also actually prefer multitasking on the Galaxy S3 as well. I can easily swipe to quickly close an application, or if I want to close everything at once, bam, I can do that. On the iPhone 5, I gotta sit there, close every app one by one, and spend all day doing so. Both phones offer an extremely smooth and responsive interface, but because of the customization, control, flexibility, and the chances Android is taking to dish out innovative features as opposed to playing it safe like iOS, that's why I give this round to the Galaxy S3. So we are tied 2-2, and we're moving on to displays. The iPhone 5 features a 4-inch LCD IPS display with a resolution of 1136 by 640, and that equates to 326 pixels per inch. The Galaxy S3 features a much larger 4.8-inch HD Super AMOLED display with a resolution of 1280 by 720. That equates to a pixel density of 306 pixels per inch, which is slightly smaller than the iPhone 5. As far as the iPhone 5 allegedly having the most perfect screen size being engineered for one-handed use, I call BS on that because I can easily perform one-handed tasks with the Galaxy S3. Here are both phones side by side. This is what it's going to look like if you're doing web browsing. You can see there's definitely a little extra screen real estate on the Galaxy S3, but definitely not a whole lot. Now, me personally, I love having the bigger display. Just playing games, watching movies, it's more enjoyable. But as far as actual quality goes, as far as viewing angles, brightness, and overall color reproduction, the iPhone 5 is actually a better display. Now, I know some of you guys are going to argue and freak out at me saying, Jonathan, the Galaxy S3 has a bigger screen, it's automatically better. The fact of the matter, though, is you kind of got to think about it that sometimes a 40-inch TV might look better than a 50-inch TV. Yes, the Galaxy S3 has a slightly bigger resolution, but in terms of actual quality, the iPhone 5 takes this round. Next up is battery life, and in this category, they are actually pretty dead even. For both the iPhone 5 and the Galaxy S3, I was easily able to get around 6 to 8 hours on heavy usage without really changing any of the features. The Galaxy S3 definitely does have a lot more options in terms of battery saving options with power save mode, the access to quickly turn Wi-Fi, turn your screen down, and due to the fact that you can remove the back and add a battery, this round goes to the Galaxy S3. So we are tied 3-3, and I'm sure you guys are wondering who is the winner out of the two, but I'm going to throw you guys a quick curveball and change up the pace of this video because I want to try something a little bit different. Now, in certain situations when you compare phone A to phone B, there very well may be a definitive winner, but in this case, I think it would do injustice for some of you guys out there to clearly say the iPhone was the winner or to clearly say the Galaxy S3 was the winner because they both have their strengths, they both have their weaknesses, and it really depends on what you're looking for in a phone to decide what is better for you. Now, if you've been an iOS user for a while now and you're bored with it, I get that because I feel the same way. And there's never been a better time to try Android. If you want to customize the crap out of your phone, you want a completely complex setup, or the simplest, most minimalistic setup in the world, you can do that with the Galaxy S3. It's fast, it's zippy, you may not have the best app or game selections, but this is a screaming phone. Now, on the other hand, if you really don't care about customization or widgets or overclocking your phone, you really don't want to spend too much time tweaking it, the iPhone 5 is probably a better option for you. Don't get me wrong, I love the Galaxy S3, it is an amazing phone, but there were things I had to do with it to set it up to my liking. The stock mail on Samsung devices absolutely blows. There is no comparison, it's night and day better on iOS. Now granted, I was able to find Aquamail, which is a damn good email client, but it was something I had to actually dig for and customize myself to actually enjoy the phone. If the idea of a big screen excites you, if you want something you can wow your friends with groundbreaking technologies like NFC, wireless sharing, then you probably want to go for the Galaxy S3. Now, on the other hand, the iPhone 5 definitely has a better selection of apps and games, and that's just the truth of the matter because there are at least 5 or 6 games on iOS that I really enjoy that aren't on the Play Store. Both of these phones make great calls. They have great phone interfaces. They both have 8 megapixel cameras that are very close. They both shoot 1080p video. It just depends on what you like. I was talking to John R. the other day about this. This is a really hard video to make because I really literally enjoy both phones. And I was telling him how much of a first world problem is this that we have to either stress about or fight about which phone is better. They are both awesome devices. I hope you guys can take this information that I've given you and kind of make that decision on your own. So what I want you guys to do is kind of decide the winner. Let me know with a comment down below. Let's see if we can have an actual discussion where you tell me why the iPhone 5 is better for you or why the Galaxy S3 is better for you. So if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys enjoyed the style, let me know by hitting that like button. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys want more in-depth reviews on written examples, check out the iPhone 5 and Galaxy S3 reviews linked down below at technobuffalo.com. This is John M, John for Bulls, whatever you want to call me, signing out. I will see you guys later.